Sometimes you walk into a room and everything looks normal. People are talking, cups are being lifted, someone laughs, someone checks their phone. It feels casual, comfortable. But after a few seconds, you notice how quiet it really is. Not silent, just careful. Like everyone is measuring their words before letting them out. In the center of it all sits someone who blends in perfectly. They don't draw attention, they don't disappear either. They are balanced, neutral. When someone speaks, they turn their head slowly, they make eye contact, they nod at the right moments. Their face shows interest, but it never changes too much. No strong reactions, no sudden warmth. Just a controlled calm that never slips. Their smile appears when it should, after a joke, when their name is mentioned, when someone looks their way. It looks polite, practiced. Then it fades. Clean. No lingering emotion. You don't see them checking the room for approval. They don't seem nervous. They don't need reassurance. They sit back comfortably like they already belong, like nothing here can touch them. People around them start adjusting without realizing it. They slow down when they speak. They explain things more clearly. They avoid heavy topics. Someone starts to complain about work. The watcher listens, nods once, gives a short answer, reasonable, logical. It sounds supportive, but something feels off. The words land, but they don't stay. There's no emotional weight behind them, no curiosity, no follow-up questions. The moment ends quickly, like it never mattered. Nothing bad happens. That's the strange part. No conflict, no cruelty, no obvious manipulation. Everything flows. Conversations move from one topic to another, but nothing deep settles in the room. It feels like surface-level connection only, safe, clean, controlled. You realize people aren't being understood here. They are being processed, listened to, remembered, not felt. At one point, someone leans in closer. They share something personal, a fear, a mistake, a quiet worry. The watcher listens carefully. Their response is calm, thoughtful, even kind. But their eyes don't change. Their body doesn't move closer. There is no shared vulnerability, no emotional echo. The other person slowly leans back. They smile awkwardly. They change the subject. They don't know why, but something inside them closes. You feel it now. The room hasn't changed, the lighting is the same, the voices are the same, but you understand what's missing. There is no emotional exchange here, only information, only performance. The watcher remains comfortable, unaffected, while everyone else slowly adjusts around them. This is where Jung would look, not at what is shown, but at what is missing. He believed every person carries a shadow, the parts of themselves they don't want to see, the impulses they push away, the emotions they pretend don't exist. In this room, the shadow feels empty, not dark, just hollow. There is no visible conflict inside this person, no struggle, no guilt leaking through small gestures. Their calm doesn't feel earned, it feels natural, like emotion was never part of the system. Jung would notice how nothing slips. No accidental anger, no sudden sadness, no moments where the mask cracks. Most people leak their shadow in tiny ways, a sharp tone, a jealous glance, a defensive laugh. But here, nothing escapes. The face stays composed, the voice stays even. It's not discipline, it's absence. There is nothing to suppress, no inner storm to control. You start to wonder what was never developed. Empathy usually grows from early connection, from being seen, from being hurt and comforted, from learning that others feel too. But this person listens without absorbing. They understand words, but not weight. They recognize emotion, but don't share it. Like someone who studied human behavior from a distance, learned the patterns, memorized the right responses. Jung would say the shadow isn't always ugly. Sometimes it's what never formed. The missing parts, the emotions that never learned to live inside the body. There is no internal dialogue here, no questioning, no moral struggle. They don't wrestle with themselves at night. They don't replay conversations. They don't wonder if they hurt someone. That requires emotional depth, reflection, a mirror inside. When someone around them cries, they know what to say. They've seen it in movies, heard it from others. It will be okay. You're strong. Everything happens for a reason. The phrases land perfectly, but behind the words, there is nothing, no resonance, no shared pain. Jung would call this a split. The mind knows, the heart is offline. This is the quiet danger of the shadow here. Not rage, not cruelty, but emptiness. A space where connection should live. They don't feel shame because shame requires attachment. They don't feel guilt because guilt needs empathy. They only feel inconvenience, disruption, risk. And so they stay smooth, adaptable, unbothered. Their shadow doesn't push them to act out. It simply sits there, watching, learning, waiting. This is where Nietzsche would start paying attention. Not to what this person feels, but to what they say about being good. They often talk about being fair, about being honest, about being calm when others are emotional. It sounds mature, responsible, but something feels off. Every word puts them in a higher place. They are the reasonable one, the strong one, the one who doesn't overreact. If someone gets upset, they call it drama. If someone feels hurt, they say they are too sensitive. If someone questions them, they smile and say, "I'm just telling the truth." It sounds harmless, even helpful. But slowly, people stop trusting their own feelings. They start wondering if they are the problem. Nietzsche warned about this, about how people use the idea of good to protect themselves, to hide. This person never yells, never insults directly. They stay calm, always calm. And that makes them look right, even when they hurt someone. The calmer they are, the more wrong everyone else looks. They often talk about how they don't get emotional, how they don't hold grudges, how they forgive easily. They present this like a badge, like proof they are better than others, more grown up, more evolved. But what they really mean is simple. They don't care enough to feel. When they hurt someone, they never apologize properly. They explain, "That's not what I meant. You misunderstood. You're taking it too personally." Morality becomes a shield, a way to avoid responsibility. They never sit with discomfort. They talk their way out of it. They never ask, "Did I hurt you?" They say, "That wasn't my intention." They focus on their image, not the impact. Nietzsche would see this as fear, fear of looking weak, fear of being wrong, fear of seeing themselves clearly. So they stay certain, certain about everything, certain about people, certain about situations. They never say maybe, they never doubt themselves out loud. And people trust certainty, even when it's empty. Slowly, the room changes. People start watching their tone, their words. They don't want to look emotional. They don't want to look weak. They begin to copy the calm mask. They stop speaking honestly. They start performing too. And the person keeps smiling, quiet, confident, untouched. This is where Machiavelli would stop listening to words and start watching what changes. Who speaks less now? Who starts agreeing more? Who suddenly looks unsure? Power doesn't come in loud. It comes in quietly, like furniture being moved when no one is looking. This person never tells anyone what to do. They don't need to. They listen. They remember small details. Who feels lonely? Who wants praise? Who hates conflict? Then they adjust how they talk to each person. Soft voice here, friendly joke there, serious tone with someone else. It feels caring, but it's calculated. Machiavelli knew this type well, the one who waits, who lets others show their fears first, their dreams, their weak spots. Everything is stored, nothing is forgotten. After talking to them, people change. Someone doubts a choice they were sure about yesterday. Someone feels guilty for no reason. Someone asks, "What do you think?" even when they already know what they want. The person never gives a clear answer. They stay vague. That's how they stay in control. People start needing their approval. Before speaking, they look at them. After meetings, they check their reaction. Power grows in silence, in what is not said. Machiavelli would smile at this. Stay unreadable. Never show your cards. When people can't read you, they project onto you. They assume you support them. They trust you without proof. The person never looks bossy. That's why it works. They don't sit at the head of the table. They don't interrupt. They don't raise their voice. They influence from the side, from quiet comments, from small looks. When there is conflict, they play both sides, not openly, privately. They tell each person what they want to hear. They don't solve problems, they manage people. Keep them unsure, keep them dependent. If someone starts seeing through them, things change. The charm fades, the warmth disappears. They become distant, not angry, just cold. Access is removed, quietly. Machiavelli would call this smart, dangerous, clean. The person never looks powerful, but they always land on their feet, always protected, always untouched, until the next observation.